that they covered in this song, in that movie, which it was the Blues Brothers singing it. It was called "She Caught the Cage," another just great old blues tune about his wife caught the train and left him a mule to ride. She caught the kitty, left me a mule to ride. She caught the kitty, left me a mule to ride. My baby caught the kitty, left me a mule to ride. The train pulled out and I swung on behind, and I'm crazy about that hard-headed woman of mine. Then my baby long, great got she mind as she told. My baby long, great got she mind as she told. My baby she long, my baby tall, sleep with her head in the kitchen and big feet side in the hall, and I'm crazy about that hard-headed woman of mine. I love my baby, she's so fine. I wish she could see me sometimes. She don't leave my lover look down a whole line of air. She don't leave her singing, look out to shake my hand. She got to get it, left me a mule to ride. She got to get it, left me a mule to ride. My baby caught the kitty, left me a mule to ride. The train pulled out and I swung on behind, and I'm crazy about that hard-headed woman of mine. That was kind of after blues had progressed over the years into rock and roll, and it's kind of got that feel to it. Another one I guess I could do, which, you know, it's tough to do anything after the 40s. You know, they started getting into the 50s, and you get electric guitars and amplifiers, and all that stuff was great, and it's some of my favorite music. It's kind of tough to do in this setting, but I'll do an example of you know, a guy from Texas hearing this music and kind of making it his own thing, still keeping it true to what it was with the progressions and the feel and everything. But he added a little bit of that Texas shuffle to it, and made, you know, helped get another kind of blues revival. There was one in the 50s and 60s, and there was another one that came along in the early 80s, early to mid 80s. This guy named Stevie Ray Vaughan came on the scene and turned a lot of people back on the blues. And even, you know, with his doing that, kind of got Eric Clapton in a way, got him back into doing the blues, and just hordes and hordes of guitar players have tried to emulate that style since then, and I don't think anybody quite did it like Stevie did yet, but I'll try a little bit of that one. She my sweet little thing. She my pride and joy. She my sweet little baby. I'm her little boy. Well, I love my baby like the finest of wine. Stick with her until the end of time. Now she my sweet little thing. She my pride and joy. She my sweet little baby, I'm her little boy. Well, I love my baby, she long and lean. You mess with her, you see a man Now she was sweet little thing. She felt pride and joy. She was sweet little baby. I'm her little lover boy. Well, I love my baby like the finest of wine. Stick with her until the end of time. Now she my sweet little thing. She's my pride and joy. She my sweet little baby. I'm her little loving boy. So that's about all the songs I had prepared. Jess, you want me to well, Mr. Jim may have some here.
No, I got a question for you. What is B.B. King? I might have missed what you had to say, but I don't think you mentioned B.B. King.
Well, B.B. King.
I got one question. Then I got another one.
All right. Well, I'll give you the brief version of B.B. King. B.B. King's from Clarksville, Mississippi, which grew up hearing these guys that I played, Robert Johnson and Lead Belly and Sunhouse. Saw them, watched them. He was a generation after those guys. Moved to Memphis, became a DJ at a radio station there, and started playing. Actually, on acoustic, would play on the radio, and got to be kind of a big name there in Memphis. And like a lot of the guys from that era. For those guys doing that music, or really for any of the African Americans in the South at that time, the South wasn't a great place to be. So a lot of them got out and got to Chicago, which is what happened with B.B. King. He moved to Chicago and kind of got into that electric blues movement. He, along with Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and Elmore James, who all of those guys were from Mississippi and migrated north to Chicago. And it really started the electric era in that Chicago blues, because that's when electric guitars and amplifiers came out, and they just took that music that was so near and dear to them, and really plugged it into an amplifier, and there it came. But that was kind of B.B.'s thing. He would be absolutely from Mississippi, and did that Delta style of acoustic blues until he moved north to Chicago.
Now, Fats Domino was a little bit different.
Well, Fats Domino is, he's kind of along the lines of that, from that style of Lead Belly,
right.
from Louisiana. Lead Belly was from Louisiana also, and on the piano, from that era, the 40s, 50s, kind of pre-rock and roll, but really, he was just taking blues and putting a little different speed to it, and added on that piano, and was really one of the architects. Fats Domino doesn't get nearly the recognition he should as far as being an architect for rock and roll, because he there wouldn't be a lot of the guys on stage singing and playing if it wasn't for Fats Domino.
I think though he made an awful lot of money off Blueberry Hill.
Oh, ain't no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that.
He probably hit it bigger right there than the rest of them. As far as I know about their music.
Yeah, I mean, and it went mainstream. The guys like Fats Domino and Chuck Berry, who gets the big recognition as being the father of rock and roll, and rightfully so. But he was, his keyboard player or piano player. Mr. Mitchell may can tell me this. Was it Johnny Johnson? Anyway, Chuck Berry's keyboard player or piano player, it wasn't on keyboards back then, his piano player really wrote a lot of those songs and was responsible for that kind of style of music, because all Chuck Berry was